It's year 2 for Grambling State Athletic Director Dr. Trayvean Scott. This go around, he's got a new head football coach, one that Grambling fans are very excited about.
That's right. So before last night's season opener, I decided to ask Dr. Scott how it all went down. Something or someone football fans are excited about is head coach Hue Jackson. You're the man that made it happen. So how did you get him here?
You know what? I like to take credit for it, but I can't. I mean, this is about all of us. You know, President Gallo allowed, he entrusted me to provide, the infrastructure to go out and attract a coach of Coach Jackson's caliber. And we worked every angle. We made every phone call. We checked every box. We were very thorough, but we also were very intentional in the type of man we wanted to come in and lead our young men. And so with that, of course, you continue to advance these conversations to make sure that you get it right, because this isn't a run-of-the-mill program. This is Grambling State University and Grambling State football. And you have to take it seriously. You have to hire the right man for the job, not necessarily the right coach. But you also have to hire the right coach and not necessarily the right man. And so those things are things that have become stalwarts in our program, because developing these young men is first and foremost our most serious task. And obviously with football being our stalwart program on the men's side, that's something that the head coach would have had to embrace coming through the door.
What were those initial conversations like with Coach Jackson? You
know what? They were great. Coach Jackson and I's first conversation was the Friday of Bayou Classic. We had just left the head coach's luncheon, and we had a call scheduled, and I talked to him in our hotel room. We talked for about an hour and a half, and I knew one thing before I called him: he could flat out coach. So while I was interested in his philosophy, I was really more interested in how he sought to provide and build for these young men, what his needs were, and what his philosophy was in terms of how he was going to use his program to develop these young men moving forward in their lives when the air is no longer in that football. And then we continued, just to build a relationship. Again, I knew he could coach. We probably didn't talk philosophy until about our third or fourth call. We had spoken every day for probably about a week. Obviously with the initial call being the Friday at Bayou Classic, the game being on the Saturday, and then we spoke again Monday, Tuesday, I believe every day that week, until I introduced him to President Gallo on Monday, and he made it to campus on Friday morning. So, it was a great process. We had a lot of great candidates, but to me, Coach Jackson rose above all of them, far and away actually, because of his commitment to developing these young men. And since he's come on board, he's paid dividends exponentially.
Dr. Scott, I don't know if you pay attention to the polls, but Grambling is not getting much love heading into the season. What do you say to those who maybe doubt your program?
Nothing. I think football games are played, on the football field. There's a 120-yard by 53.5-yard wide field that you have to play on. Whether or not it's fair, I don't think it matters. You still have to play. Now, I will say this: I kind of see, from both aspects. You've got a new coach, new philosophy. You've got, a little over half of your roster of new student athletes. You've got a talented group coming back. You've got a talented group coming in, and so we're improving. We've got to earn it. That's fair. But that's why you play the game. And so, I don't, necessarily worry about polls and prognostications or any of that, because you've got to play the game. And we tell our student athletes that all the time. You got to go out and prove it. And so we're excited that they're going to get the opportunity starting week 1 at Arkansas State.